Parents, do you ever give your children treats or toys or video games or anything whenever they won't be quiet just so you can get some quiet time? Well, that's the dog equivalent there. So let's get into this next episode of the Quintuple M. This is episode number 40 of the Monday Mr. Money Mustache Motivation. And today's episode is coming from an article titled How Not to Use Your Air Conditioning from July 18th, 2011. This is an appropriate one to discuss since I just had that garden update where it was super hot outside. And y'all, truthfully, I'll be the first to admit that we are not very energy efficient when it comes to our air conditioning. The reason that the husband pays the power bill for our house is because he keeps it ice cold in this house, and to the point where I'm actually cold most days and I could wear a sweater inside and be fine. And it's not a good thing, but yeah, I mean, if he wants to keep it that cold, then he can pay the power bill, which is going to be higher. So anyway, we'll get into this episode. Happy July 18th. It sure is hot these days, isn't it? Statistically speaking, a good portion of the continental US and Canada had its hottest average day of the year right around now. So I thought it was a good time to share some thoughts on modern households' biggest energy consumer in July, the air conditioner. See, normally I'd assume that we're all adults and we're able to decide for ourselves how to run our own appliances. You would think, but I lost that battle. After being on my current summer vacation for over 3 weeks and visiting a large number of family and friends throughout the not overly hot Great Lakes region, I've noticed that most people leave their goddamn air conditioners running 24 hours a day, whether it is warm or cool outside, with their houses at a stupidly low temperature. Yes, folks, it has become obvious that America and Canada both need a lesson from Mr. Money Mustache on how to use their air conditioners. Guilty. I recently measured the power consumption of the central AC system in my own house. Mine is a 3-ton, 36,000 BTU per hour system, which dates back to about 1998 when my house was built. At the time, it was considered fairly efficient with a seasonal energy efficiency rating of 10. It's called a SEER unit of 10. Newer units, thanks to EPA rules, are now much better with ratings of 14 and higher. Changes the SEER rating translate almost directly into similar percentage decreases in your cooling costs. When in full operation, my system uses 3,000 watts, 3 kilowatts of electricity, about 500 of which is my furnace blower pumping the cool air around the house and adding its 500 watts of heat back into the cool air stream, by the way. For those without electrical engineering backgrounds, 3,000 watts is an absolute shitload of electricity. It's enough to run 230 modern light bulbs simultaneously, and it's equal to having about 15 monster-legged Tour de France level cyclists hooked up, pumping at race level on bike generators continuously in your basement. At the national average price for electricity of 12 cents per kilowatt hour, my air conditioning system burns 36 cents per hour or $86 per month if used for 8 hours per day. With a 3-month cooling season, this would compound to several $1,000s of wasted electricity every 10 years. Yet my total average electric bill in summer, despite an average daily high temperature of almost 90 degrees in Colorado, is really only about $35. How could this be? The answer, of course, is that I have just cut out the waste without sacrificing any real happiness or comfort. Here's how comfort works. Your body generates heat just by being alive. It needs to maintain its internal temperature at around 98 degrees Fahrenheit, and it depends on the skin surface temperature being lower than this to dump extra heat into the surrounding air. Producing sweat helps you cool the body faster since the sweat sucks up heat as it evaporates. Humid air cannot evaporate your sweat as quickly, which is why it feels hotter. All basic elementary school science, right? This is why the southeastern United States is a sucky place to be in the summer, even at 85 degrees Fahrenheit, while the desert states can feel quite comfy and invigorating at that temperature. Can affirm. Finally, your body becomes more efficient at cooling itself the longer it spends at higher temperatures and humidities. Every summer I drive from Colorado down into Nebraska and beyond. I break out into a great sweat and need to crank the car AC. Even at midnight, when the temperature drops into the 60s, I still can't stand the humidity and need to continue the air conditioning. But within 2 days, I am comfortable with the higher humidity, and I enjoy a regular eastern summer with no difficulty. As July progresses and things get hotter, I'm usually visiting a portion of my family with no AC, so my body continues to adapt. There are a few days when the temperature is so high that I get uncomfortable, but then I spray myself with the garden hose and drink a gallon of water with ice cubes, and all is well. I also take advantage of the natural cycle of the environment. In the U.S. Northeast and Canada, and even more in the western desert areas, the temperature usually drops at night. So non-AC users take advantage of this fact to open all their windows and use large fans, 100 watts, to exhaust heat and draw in cool air to chill the entire interior contents of their homes. A 100-watt fan blowing outwards from your highest window is pulling in night air from all other windows that is 10 plus degrees cooler than your house. By sucking in thousands of cubic feet of cool air per minute, this fan is doing almost as much cooling as the 3,000-watt air conditioning unit that does the same job during the daytime. The naturally cool crowd also makes a point of enjoying more outdoor food cooking and clothes drying on hot days to further reduce indoor heat sources. This is to be contrasted with the behavior of air conditioning addicts who set their thermostats to a silly temperature below 80 and let that baby run night or day. Yep. They might... Quiet. See what I mean? They might turn it off at night, but forget to open the windows, so they miss out on the free nighttime cooling. I remember staying over at one friend's house in June and heading out for a midnight errand. It was so cool outside that I needed a sweater, yet his air conditioner was still running, pumping out the remaining heat from the 90-degree sunny day that had just passed. Meanwhile, his body was not bothering to adapt to summertime heat and humidity because his house is always refrigerator-like inside. You watching this, hon? All of this is completely unnecessary. The Mustachian way is to think of air conditioning as a pleasant luxury to be used when all other efforts fail, much like a car. It should be an exciting moment in your household when everyone is drinking their gallon-sized containers of ice water, wearing comfortable and summery outfits of bare feet and tank tops. Then the ceiling fan is running when you proclaim, "God damn it, it's hot today. Let's turn on the air conditioning, yeah." Then you run it for an hour or two and the sun goes behind a tree and you shut it back off again. And you open the windows that night and run the fan and go on with your lives. If this sounds like too much hassle to you, grow some frugality muscles, punch yourself in the face, and try again. This is my earth you are messing with and your own money mustache you are burning off in the broiler of your local coal-fired power plant. Stay cool, love, Mr. Money Mustache. Extremely, extremely valid points by Mr. Money Mustache here, and I did not shy away from this article, even though we are super guilty in this household of keeping it refrigerator-like at all times of the day. I am not saying that I would enjoy it if it was 80 degrees inside the house, but I know we could be more efficient when it comes to this. And he does have a valid point. In the southeast, it is miserably hot with the humidity here, and even though temperature-wise it could be 85 degrees outside, it could feel like 100 degrees with the humidity down here. So it is a little bit more challenging for us. Also, the humidity makes it a little bit more challenging when it comes to drying clothes outside. We always get these afternoon thunderstorms that come through. Anyhow, I could make any number of excuses, but I do know that we could be more efficient when it comes to our power bill in this house. So, also other things to consider. It's easier for your body to adapt to more extreme temperatures when you're younger. When you're older, it gets a little bit harder. Or for people like me, I'm hypothyroid and I do have low iron issues, which means that I feel cold pretty much all the time. So yeah, I'm cold even right now sitting in this house, and it's probably 90 degrees outside. So there are other things to consider about how well or not you're physically able to adapt to the heat and cool. So yeah, let me know down below. Do you think you are efficient with your air conditioning in the summertime? Are you pretty well able to adapt to the temperatures that surround you? And if you've got any tips on how to keep your house cool without running the air conditioner, drop them down below. I'll definitely check them out myself. All right, y'all, that'll wrap it up for this one. If you haven't subscribed yet, then feel free to scroll down and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all next Monday for the next episode of the Mr. Money Mustache Motivation. Bye. Say bye. Tell him. Quiet. Quiet. Yeah. I said quiet. You're so naughty.